Hello everyone, welcome to the Milner Browne Wednesday webinar titled Utilise Your Support and Maintenance. My name is Jillian Sheridan, Head of Milner Browne Support, and I'm going to cover some topics to help you make the most of your support and maintenance contracts. This will be a brief overview of the topics as my colleagues will be covering the main headings in detail in webinars coming soon. The topics I will be touching on are as follows: supported versions, SAP Customer Portal, SAP Go-To Manual, SAP Academy, SAP Forms, RSP, Remote Support Platform, Milner Browne Support, Milner Browne Customer Feedback, and SAP Support. The supported versions, below you'll see the only version of SAP that is currently supported is the version 9.1. And you'll see the estimated out of maintenance date for this is not until June 2018. Therefore, our webinar presentations will all be carried out on version 9.1 where relevant. So the first thing I'd like to touch on is the SAP Customer Portal. Now, just to mention, as before, there will be a detailed webinar on the Customer Portal from one of my colleagues, but I would just like to give you a taste of what you can find in here should you look. So you've got the link to the Customer Portal below. To get onto the Customer Portal, you do need a customer S number to log on. So if you do not have one, please pop an email to the Milner Browne support team and they will organise one for you. Their email address will be on the last slide of this presentation if you don't know it offhand. So when you go into the SAP Customer Portal, you'll be able to find things like hardware and software requirements. So should you be thinking of doing a version upgrade, at least you'll know what's supported and what's not. How-to guides for 9.1. So they're very useful topics like how to year-end in 9.1, how to perform stock takes, that type of thing. So they're very useful guides and we hand them out sometimes on the support desk for references. Then you've got documentation for all 9.1 modules. So for sales, purchasing, stock, banking, financials, you'll have documentation on those. You can get easy start guides. So that's if you're looking to implement a new SAP module and you haven't had any training or anything. This will give you some tips and tricks on what you need to set up and config in order to implement those modules. We also have the SAP Business One Academy. Now the SAP Business One Academy covers all your training materials, so like your e-learnings, there's presentations and demonstrations, there's simulations covering various topics for all the modules in SAP. We'll come to that slightly in a little bit later. Then it also tells you what you can expect from SAP Business 9.2. So that's the next version of SAP that's on general release in June. So here's a print screen of what the portal looks like. So as I say, you do need your S number to key in your S number and password to get in onto this page. But once you have it, you can log in here at any time and it brings you into the customer portal where you can get support. You can look for solutions that may have already been published by SAP. You'll get all your documentation, you get implementation assistance stuff if you're for rollout and setting up new modules, and then you have the education section which gives you all your e-learnings, and you've the news and what's new and what's coming down the line. So again, that's just a taste of what the screen looks like when you do log in. The next topic I'd like to mention is the SAP Business One Go-To Manual. So this is a manual that you obviously can look at many of the topics online, but if you're the type of person that prefers to go to a manual, or you can obviously print it out as well, although I think it's about 300 pages, but you can go through it. It brings you through step by step, module by module. You can obviously, it's an interactive manual, so you can click on the section in the table of contents and it will pop you down to that relevant section. So if you only use particular modules in SAP, well then you have a quick guidance to get to where you need to in the manual. It explains what way you can implement new ideas and put your product into new work and business, which will help you get information out of the system quicker, help you train up your new employees quicker and things like that. So that's a very handy one. Then we come on to the SAP Business One Academy. Now this is, I've mentioned before, you can get to it from the customer portal, or it has its own direct link here at the bottom of the slide. To get onto the SAP Business One Academy, you do not need an S number. So you can just click on that link and you're straight in. Again, as I said, you can access it via the community network, so you don't need an S number. Customers can use it for training and enablement internally, so if you've got any new starts, you can show them that and let them work through it. And most importantly, it's updated regularly by SAP from the product expert teams. So they'll always have the latest features, the latest modules, the latest tips and tricks up on the SAP Business One Academy. So there's a link at the bottom if you need to go into it. Again, we will have a webinar on the Business One Academy which will give you more detail on that. Here's a print screen of just what the SAP Business One Academy looks like when you do click on the link. So you can go in there depending on what module you're interested in. If it's logistics or accounting, you can click on those links and do all the interactive training to gain more knowledge in your SAP system. Then we just have a Lynx Summary page here. Just to mention, all these links will be stored up on our Milner Browne website. So if you do want to go to that afterwards, it will be milnerbrowne.com, and on the top right there's a support button which will bring you to the support section, and we will have all these links there for you to click on so that you can gain quick access to the portal and the academy. I've also added one in there for the SAP Business One forum. Again, that one doesn't need an S number password, but what you can do is you go in there and it's the community of all SAP users, and people share any problems that they're experiencing, any solutions that they've found. So if you do have a query, you're able to go into the forum and type it in and see what previous people may have done to resolve an issue, or if you've had any questions on best practice. And SAP experts themselves do go on to those forums and provide solutions and suggestions and advice. So you can find some very good stuff in there. Next, I want to move on to the remote support platform. This is a tool which you can install on your system, and it performs some very important checks and obviously some very important alerts for yourselves. Now, we know a lot of our sites do have this installed now, but I wanted to mention it as a good way to utilize your support contract, because this is a free tool, so it's free and it's quick and easy to install. So the remote support platform is the primary support platform for receiving SAP Business One support services. So when we log anything to SAP on your behalf, they will look for the remote support platform to be installed, if not already, and that's how we transfer your data over security protocol, make sure that everything is all done correctly. So then it's simple, quick to install, free for customers on maintenance, and no additional hardware is required. So it's very easy to set up, and it's always up to date with automatic software upgrades. It's important to note at this point that remote support platform is not watching your business or your business related data, and it's not transferring information or installing software without your knowledge, which is some of the questions that we are asked when we suggest installing remote support platform. So what's the benefits? So these are a few situations that our customers have found themselves in. So have you ever been shocked to find out that there's been no backup of the database for a while? Well, RSP can give you peace of mind by scheduling backups automatically. And RSP will tell you when something goes wrong immediately. So you will get notification alerts, and you just decide who in your company is to receive those, and RSP will advise them when a backup hasn't run, or there's a problem with a backup, or it's not completed successfully. So this is very important. frustrated with unplanned downtimes and sluggish system performances, so you can minimize your business disruption with RSP and achieve peak system performance, stability and improve data consistency. So that will do all the checks for that on your system and your hardware and so on for you as well. Have you run out of space on your server again? So again, we have a lot of customers that would log issues that their servers run out of space, and obviously at that point they're experiencing a lot of disruption. So this RSP can advise you before there is a problem to let you know that you're running low on space, and you can react before you have an issue. Want to be alerted as soon as an issue appears on the horizon. So again, you can regularly results, and there's a number of them, and it helps SAP prioritize the related bugs and fixes, and it will let you know what it's found on the system. So again, we have a dedicated RSP webinar coming up where we'll go into detail on all of those and actually show you how it's set up and the type of alerts you get, but it's just important to mention it at this stage so that everybody is aware of RSP, and hopefully you'll all attend that webinar. So in summary, here are the basic benefits of the RSP. As I say before, it's free of charge and you don't need extra hardware. So it can do health checks in the background for your system. You can get a system status report that will allow you to make sure everything is okay, overview of your hardware and software configuration. You can schedule in backups and back up your attachments and all that automatically, and you can use your pre-upgrade tool. So if you were looking for an upgrade, you can do your pre-checks through the RSP to make sure that there's nothing there that will raise its head as an issue when you go to do your live upgrade. So again, at the bottom of this slide you'll see there is a YouTube video on RSP, but as I say, we have a webinar coming up also, so plenty of information out there on RSP. Now on to Milner Browne support team. So I'd just like to give you an overview of our team here in Milner Browne and how we do things. So we have a dedicated support team, and between us all we've 80 plus years of SAP experience across all products. We average about 690 inbound calls per month, and 96.5% of these we close in company, which means we're able to resolve them within Milner Browne. We have excellent communication skills, and we have a tech and system savvy team that cover all areas of expertise. Here's a breakdown of the team structure that we have. So we have our core support team, SAP support team, and then we have our transition support team, which we've introduced a few months ago, which is to help people going through a go live, pre and post go live. And then we have our technical and second level dev support team, where we can escalate issues to them, or if the issues get quite technical. And then we've head of support, which is myself, and then we've a admin and CSA resource, and then we've group head of client services there as well. So that's the structure of the support team in Milner Browne. So how it works. So when you log a call with us, the issue is logged on the system. It's given a unique number, and the support rep takes ownership of the call. We make first contact with the customer, and the issue is resolved and closed. If, however, the issue can't be resolved at the first level, we then escalate to our second line support. It can require some second line investigation and some dev support input, and then the issue might be closed. If at that point the issue is still not resolved, we have a third level escalation where we go to our third level product support team, and at that point the issue will be closed. So we do have 3 levels of escalation within the support team to get all issues resolved for you. How we do it, so as I mentioned before, we've our SAP and transition team. So our SAP support team support all companies spread over many countries. We've got complex solutions and multiple platforms, varied environments, and we support SAP, B1 apps and enterprise support, so all the SAP and B1 apps. On the transition support team, This was introduced a couple of months ago, and we introduced it at UAT stage for a site to provide a second layer of reliability. The transition team will liaise with the project team lead and assist during go live with any queries that may arrive, and it helps ease the transition to the support team from the lead consultant. And again, the transition support team support SAP, all the apps and enterprise support. Then we have our dev support team. So again, they support all the companies over many countries, multiple platforms, varied environments. All the SDK is supported, the B1 apps, enterprise, and all dev support second and third level. So we have the second and third level escalations in there. And then we have our customer support advisor, who will be regularly in contact with the customer, share new functionality, measure customer satisfaction, feedback to the business, monitor any high issues that's logged in the queues with us, and be your advocate within our business. So next we have the Milner Browne customer feedback. So this is something that we just implemented a few weeks ago, and some of you may have noticed that you've already received this email. So what we did was we started to send out this email to everyone who closed a call with us the previous week, as we really valued the feedback and suggestions to make improvements to the customer experience with the support desk when logging calls. So every call that we close for you, we send you this email at the end of the week, and it basically thanks you for logging and we hope we've resolved your issue. And we ask you if you could take the time to rate us. So green, if you hit the green, it's good, you guys did a great job. Amber is okay, but room for improvement. And red, not great, you need to do better. So we would really appreciate if you could take the time, if you do receive this, to click on one of the faces, let us know. And we do take every feedback very seriously, and we have a meeting every week where we review all the returned weekly feedback forms and make sure that we're going through and picking up on your suggestions. So here's some of the lessons learned from the customer feedback for the past 4 weeks. As I say, we've only been doing this for a few weeks. So phone first. So it came back that it was very important that people enjoy getting the phone call first as opposed to emails. So now every call that's logged, we phone first to acknowledge it, get more information, etc. And that's what the feedback said was the best way. We monitor sites that log over 5 calls a week to see if assistance and guidance is required. So that just means that if we see more than 5 calls, we sit down again in a weekly meeting, see what it is, why the reasons, and contact you to see if we can be in assistance to try and bring that number down. If there's more than 3 calls in the queue for one customer, we now group them together and assign them to one person. So that means rather than 3 different support technicians ringing you about the 3 different issues, one person will ring you and go through all 3 together. So again, hopefully that speeds up issue resolution time. If a support technician is on sick leave, then their calls will be reassigned. So if somebody is on sick leave, we will go through the calls, reassign amongst the team depending on what the call types are and the priorities, and just make sure that they're kept moving while somebody is on leave. And finally, customer and they're not available, then we follow up with an email and let them know. So that's just where we try to ring you. We mightn't always get you, but we pop you an email as well, because sometimes the message mightn't have got through to you from reception, etc. So it's just to make sure everybody's clear on who's to make the next action. Then we move on to SAP Support. So obviously we try to resolve as many issues as we can within Milner Browne, and we have a very small amount that we do have to pass to SAP if there's a bug or an issue in the software. So we have the same facility to log issues with SAP themselves, and they support obviously SQL and HANA. So we can log them across. So we've got global support and maintenance delivery with SAP. So everybody's supported throughout. And here's how SAP handle their issues. So literally we log an incident with them. We verify what we've already checked. We verify that we've already gone through all the solutions that they published to make sure nothing is up there, that it's already a bug, and we say whether we try to reproduce it, and then we forward it on to them, and obviously SAP will investigate. So they verify that they've received the incident from us. They do a solution and search as well. They try to reproduce, and sometimes they let us know that they've reproduced it, but the scenario is not in the latest patch, so therefore you need to upgrade to the latest patch. If they need to, they will forward it to their dev support team, so they've got the second levels there as well, and then they go through the debugging and prepare the database for correction, and then they let us know what the solution is, be it they need to run a fix, or they give a workaround, or you have to upgrade to a future version, etc. So there's just an overview of how SAP would deal with the issues as well. So they have preparation analysis, and they provide solutions as well, and then they have escalations and exception handling. And that's the end of our presentation. Thank you for your attendance today. We'll have a quick Q&A now if anyone has any questions for us.